So you can continue now.
Thank you so much. Hello, good morning, everyone. I, Professor Govind Prashant Goyal, Faculty IMS Law College, extend you hearty welcome to the plenary session of the 6th Virtual International Conference on the topic of global impact of artificial intelligence on human resources in 2030, issues and challenges. It's a two-day program in which we are looking up for the deliberation, stimulating discussions so that we can reach to the conclusion whether AI is going to have the positive impact or negative impact on the human resources in 2030. Moving on with the topic of today, that is how AI is going to contribute in the justice dispensing machinery. Recently, we have the introducing of AI in the Supreme Court of India, in judiciary particularly, wherein the learned and the most renowned legal editor of the Tribune, Shri Satya Prakash Ji, has participated in the discussion at Raj Sabha TV. So, sir, we are extending you hearty welcome, and we are thankful to you that you have accepted our invite for gracing this occasion. Before we extend the hearty welcome and before I introduce, I would like to request our Dean, sir, Professor Dr. K.S. Bhatti, in IMS Law College, to extend the formal vote of thanks to sir.
Thank you, Professor Govind.
Bhatti, sir.
So it's not vote of thanks, but it's a welcome. So on behalf of the IMS Law College and the Honorable President of the IMS Law College, Shri Rajiv Kumar Gupta, CMD, Mr. Shilpi Gupta, and Dean Academics, Dr. Manju Gupta, Professor Govind Goyal, Dr. Nirja Anand, and Professor Pinky Singh, and all other distinguished faculty members of the IMS College, IMS Institution, which comprises of the 5 disciplines: the law, the management, the journalism, the information technology, and fashion designing. And on behalf of all dear students, those who are participating and those who are otherwise also have joined the program on the YouTube and other channels, other devices, I extend a very, very hearty welcome to very renowned legal editor, Mr. Satya Prakash Ji, and we are really honored, sir. We extend very, very hearty welcome to you. And the topic of the day, topic of this session is also very, very, very interesting, and nobody else would be better expert to speak on dispensing machinery, how far the present justice dispensing machinery has been able to meet the requirement of the situation, and how the future also stands with regard to that. I must brief the Honorable Speaker that yesterday the inaugural session took place. Mr. Prabhu, Suresh Prabhuji, the former Union Minister and Member of Parliament, he inaugurated the conference, and he spoke also that we have to always value the nature which is the all omnipotent and dominant to determine the course of action, course of development, course of everything, whatever is happening in the world. And then it was another very learned speaker. We had Mr. Sahil Nair, who also spoke that though artificial intelligence or the technology has to come in the long way, he started with the typewriter stage and came to the computer stage and now to the WhatsApp, internet and everything. But ultimately he was also of the opinion that it is the human mind which has the supremacy over everything. And similarly, I must put up that the judicial mind also, the judges also, it can be court management can be by the artificial intelligence, the docket management can be by the client management, can be by the billing, can be by, but ultimately the dispensation of justice has to come from the human mind. And to that human mind, that it is unbiased, it is not in any way vitiated by the circumstances, how far the artificial intelligence can contribute to the very, very sound system of dispensation of justice, which can reduce the crores of cases which are pending in the courts of law, even in the Supreme Court, High Courts, and the state court, trial courts. They are all plagued with the pendency. So, uh, Mr. Satyapalji, who is a journalist and also the journalist who covers the legal with the very, very esteemed newspaper, the Tribune, which is a pioneer teen paper, a newspaper in the northern India particularly. I remember in the earlier days, it used to come from the Chandigarh, and very, very renowned editor who established it. I'm just slipping the name. But the Tribune is a very respected newspaper with very balanced reporting and balanced contribution to the media world, which is a fourth pillar of the democracy. So I extend a very hearty welcome, sir, and look forward to your words of wisdom and enlightening lecture to our students and all participants for the benefit of how it is going to impact the judicial dispensation system and the human rights situation in the year 2030, which is the main topic of the international conference. So I take it's my privilege to welcome you again and again on behalf of the management of the IMS and on behalf of all faculty members and myself. I accord a very hearty welcome to you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean, sir, for your hearty welcome and welcome note. Now, moving further with the introduction of our renowned learned speaker, Mr. Satyaprakash. Mr. Satyaprakash is a legal editor at the Tribune since January 2017. Sir has worked as a legal editor, associate editor with Hindustan Times for a decade. And before joining Hindustan Times, Sir headed the legal bureau of PTI, where he worked during 1996-2006. Sir is regularly appearing as an expert on politics and law on Raj Sabha TV, Lok Sabha TV, Doordarshan, and All India Radio in debates on the issues of national importance. Sir has actually appeared as an expert on AI and judiciary, and that has prompted our interest to know how judiciary, particularly in judiciary, the top tier of the justice dispensing machinery, AI is going to help them, and how it is going to dispose of the cases which are already clogging the courts of the justice. And Sir is writing weekly column with the dicta. Sir has been writing, editing, page article, and news analysis. Sir is well versed with the functioning of online and social media. Sir has worked with the Lok Sabha and Delhi Assembly elections. Now, I think this is very much brief profile which I have had. Otherwise, Sir deserves, stature of Sir is such a big one that we cannot just encapsulate in the short words of ours. We find it inadequate. Now, I would like to call upon Sri Satyaprakash Ji, Legal Editor Tribune, to please address the August gathering, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Professor Goel, Dr. Bhati, and all the participants who are in Delhi, Noida, and elsewhere. This is really my privilege to be part of this discussion. And this is such a topic which is future oriented. And this is going to change the entire judicial system, which has been facing the problem of litigation explosion in the last couple of decades. And the entire system has been struggling to clear the backlog of around 4 crore cases. In fact, as a lawyer, as a journalist who has been in courts for the last more than 25 years, in fact, I have seen many chief justices making promises and then retiring without much progress having been made so far as judicial system is concerned. For the first time, now we see a ray of hope in the form of artificial intelligence, because whatever efforts have been taken in the past by the judges, by the government, and by lawyers, and by various stakeholders, we have not managed to deal with the problem of pendency. And when I say problem of pendency, it is not just one problem. All the problems are quite interlinked. If we manage to clear the backlog, or if we manage to handle cases, decide cases within a reasonable period of time, it adds to GDP. In fact, at least 2% GDP can go up if we manage to decide cases within a reasonable time frame. We have tried to do it, particularly for commercial litigation, by setting up commercial courts in various commercial benches in various high courts. But it has not worked well. Why? Because even the high courts, almost 40% of the judges posts, they remain vacant. That's a completely different issue, which can be dealt with as a separate subject. But so far as AI is concerned, AI has been a problem, or rather, it has been used as something to solve a problem, and across the globe, in various jurisdictions, lots of countries have started using AI. And because of AI, I'm just going to share the presentation. I hope if you manage to see it, kindly, can you see this screen?
So, sorry, not visible.
Just give me a sec. Just one sec. Yes. Just give me a sec. I'm just.
It's okay, sir. It's fine, sir.
Can you see it? Maybe I'm not well versed.
Not visible from here.
Just give me a sec. Just one sec.
Okay.
I hope now it's visible.
No, it's okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is so.
So first is that since the beginning of the human civilization, human race has been using technology to overcome the problems facing the mankind. And be it the invention of fire, wheels, printing press, automobile, radio, computer, internet, we have been inventing and innovating to surge ahead. And that's the reason that the human race is ahead of all the other races. And so far as this century is concerned, artificial intelligence is going to take the human civilization to the next level. It is not that we are going to be the first country to use artificial intelligence. There are many other countries and jurisdictions which are already using it at various levels. The US, the UK, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, China, and many other countries are using it at various levels in their judicial system. In fact, so far as Singapore is concerned, Singapore in particular, it has been using it for transcription, real-time transcription of court proceedings. Similarly, Austria has been using it for docket management and digitizing its analog case-wise. So it's a technology which is being used across the globe in various jurisdictions, but mainly this is being used at two levels. One is for two purposes. One is to augment administrative efficiency, and this is mainly for docket management at various levels. And if we are using it for that, it's going to help us in the immediate run, midterm, and also long term. So far as the second part is concerned, and that's where the real problem lies. Can it be used in the decision-making process? And there are various pros and cons. And as Dr. Bhati pointed out in the very beginning, can it be a substitute for human mind? Obvious answer is not. But there are concerns regarding this, and how it can be used and how far we can go for this. That is the question. And there are various levels at which, if we want to go for it, we can go. The first is that how to conceptualize it, that is preparing a governing charter. And this can be done after consulting various stakeholders, say the judges, the lawyers. There are court staff who help the entire court administration in the entire process. And of course, the litigants, who are the major stakeholder in the entire process. So consulting various stakeholders, then preparing a governing charter, and then if we want to implement it, we need a special set of people who can help in the process. They are, of course, on the technology side, but also those who are in the entire process involved, be it judges, lawyers, and the litigants. Many of us file our cases ourselves, and the court staff. They all have to be trained in a particular manner to use this. This is the part of the capacity building exercise, and then operationalization of the entire process. Then it would require putting in place the entire database in the digital form and in a manner which is accessible to all the stakeholders, so as to enable them use the database. Because if everything is going to be online, then only AI system can work, because it's use of database, that's the key to entire process. And finally, the implementation of the process. This would require phase-wise deployment of the system. And again, once the system has been put in place and operationalized and implemented, we need to have proper feedback system so as to evaluate how far we have gone. If there are any lacunae, that has to be addressed. So these are the three stages which are to be kept in mind for operationalization of the entire process. Then, as I mentioned to you in the beginning, we need it for what? We need it not because there is a system available and we want to, or there is technology available, we want to use it just for the use of heck of it. No, there is a real problem which we are faced with. Indian judicial system is one of the largest in the world, and we have around 4 crore cases pending in the entire judicial system across various levels. In fact, because of pandemic, the courts were not functioning at their full capacity, and mostly it was virtual court hearing, and number of cases was which were being taken up, it was quite limited. In fact, the Supreme Court again is back to old thing, like they are taking only urgent matters since April 22nd, because of the second wave of COVID-19. A Law Commission of India report, we all know, in 1987, they said India needed 50 judges per 1 million population, and while it was just 10.5 judges that time. Now the ratio has gone up to 20 judges per million, but it is nothing compared to the United States or the UK, where you have 107 judges or 51 judges per million population, 107 for US, and 51 for UK. And similarly, other Western countries, they have quite a good judge population ratio. And as on January 28 this year, the working strength of subordinate judiciary was 19,318 judges. And this was against the sanctioned strength of 24,247 judges, means around 5,000 posts remain vacant. I'm trying to highlight it because if we don't have adequate number of judges, even AI is not going to come to our rescue. So while technology can help us in the entire process, the real manpower shortage, it has to be addressed. And if we see the total figure, it is because of the pandemic. And if you take the other systems, I'm talking about tribunals, the figure has now gone to almost 4 crore. And this is out of this, more than 1 lakh cases are pending for over 30 years. And close to 50,000 cases are pending for 20 to 30 years. So if such is the the problem and the magnitude of the problem, we need some kind of help in terms of technology. And how technology can help is the question, particularly if a particular kind of case or a nature of case is such which various at various levels it's pending, they all can be clubbed together. The bunching of cases, if it is done manually, it might take time, but if it is done by with the help of AI, it can be easily done. But what is important is that situation on the ground, what we have discussed is nothing compared to what is projected to be. There is a report of the National Court Management System, and this is prepared by the Supreme Court. It was prepared in 2012. And it says the situation is likely to get worse. And what it has projected is the number of cases being filed would reach 15 crore in 30 years. So what we have, each year 15 crore cases would be filed in the next 3 decades. And that is almost 1 decade is over since then. So in the next 2 decades, the number of cases being filed would reach 15 crore, and it would require 75 crore judges to deal with them. And look at the situation, even the current sanctioned strength of judges total, it's around 25,000 crore. And almost 5,000 posts remain vacant. So supposing we have 20,000 judges today, we are short of 55,000 judges. So that's a huge number. And if that number is what has been realistically projected, we are in real mess. And that is why it's important to use AI to deal with the problem, because see, a number of cases are going to increase. There are various factors, like there have been research conducted. The cases coming from the states which have higher literacy rate, it's quite high. Like Jharkhand will have less number of cases compared to Kerala or maybe Maharashtra. So it depends, and also depends upon as people are getting educated, they are asserting their rights. One. Second is, as their economic profile is changing towards the good, they're also again asserting their rights and litigating. So the number of cases filed in the entire system, it's going to increase while the system is not ready to deal with that. And this is in this context that the use of technology and technology in general, and particularly artificial intelligence, it's very important. So far as the current use of artificial intelligence in Indian judiciary is concerned, we are using it at 3 levels or for 3 purposes. Currently, for translation, we all know we are a multilingual country. And particularly if a case is being fought at the Supreme Court, and the case has originated in the trial court, you'll have the original document in some regional language. And then in many cases, high courts are also passing judgments in Hindi or some regional languages. So translation is a huge problem, and it has been highlighted by various judges, including CJI, that at times they are requesting the lawyers of that particular area that kindly please you help us in translating the documents. And sometimes the cases are stuck in the Supreme Court simply because the translations are not available. And unless the original files are translated into English, it cannot work. So translation is one such thing in which this AI is being used, and it is still at the trial stage. Justice L. Nageswar Rao, who is heading the committee on AI in the Supreme Court, recently has said the almost 91% efficiency has been achieved. And he said we'll properly launch it once we cross 95%. So it is still in the trial stage. In fact, the Supreme Court has asked various high courts to send their judgments in regional languages so that that can be used for translation for experimental purposes, and thereafter it can be made operational. The second is recently SUPACE was launched, and this is for research and docket management. It was launched earlier this month, and this is where most of the jurisdictions across the globe, they are using AI at a uh, great level. Means they are using AI first. In fact, the system is that first you use AI for research and docket management, and then it can be taken to the next level of helping or aiding the judicial system in the process of taking decisions. And there also, the main job of the AI is to help in research. Similar cases, in fact, AI is also being used by various uh, law journals. They provide us everything. Earlier, lawyers used to have bulky books. Now it's all uh, uh, some search engines, and they would find everything in their laptop. Also, the judicial NAT grid, which is already operational, what it has done is it has created a network of all the courts across India, and their data is almost available on a real-time basis. And it has also brought in a great amount of transparency in the entire judicial system. And one of the benefits of this system is that the problem of pendency, and pendency, as the figures I have given you, that a certain number of cases are pending for these many decades or years. This is all from judicial NAT grid. It's available online, and this makes it possible for us to know the scale of the problem and how it can be managed. Unless we know the problem, we cannot go for solution. So currently, translation for docket management and judicial NAT grid is using in some form or the other AI to collate all the data which is available at various levels in the judiciary. Then there are some challenges in introduction of AI in India. One is that judiciary has been a very slow learner. E-filing project, which was started way back in 2005, it is not still complete. And in 2017, the then CJI, Justice J.S. Kher, had announced that we'll go paperless, and the judges would not deal with paper files, and it will all be the laptops and computers, and everything would be in soft form. But we saw in the court for 2, 3, 5 days, the judges were having a screen in front of them, and thereafter the old system of bulky files and notice, and then they will dump the file. So old system is back. So they have been a very slow learner, though there is transformation. We have seen in the last decade of the previous century that all the trial courts, and some cases even in the high courts, typewriters were being used. So they were all replaced by computers. And now everything is integrated, as I told you about judicial NAT grid. But the filing, because one of the important aspects of use of artificial intelligence in judiciary is that the data has to be available in soft form. So it has to be e-filing. While e-filing is being done, but sorry, but judges are using paper filed. So once, even if an advocate has filed a petition in the e-form, electronic form, there will be a printout and then it will be presented before the judge as a file. So this is not going to work. Everything has to be electronically done, and it has to be made compulsory, because e-filing has not been made compulsory so far. And they have relaunched a software to make the paperless filing, because there was a problem of mismatch of software, the software being used by the judges and software used by the lawyers for filing. So the new software, which is currently under trial, so once they are through with it, and this can be made a seamless kind of thing, and then it can work well. One of the good things about this pandemic is that the digital push and online push. We all know how devastating it has been. In fact, I have lost many lawyer friends in this process. This morning also, we got news of demise of at least 2 lawyer friends. And yesterday also, day before also, not just in Delhi, outside Delhi also. And some of my friends are battling COVID-19. But one of the silver lining of this entire pandemic is that it has fast-tracked the entire process of digitization, and everything is going online. Why we are meeting in this virtual world is because of the pandemic. So earlier, all the educational institutions, be it court, be it government system, not everybody had this system. Even individual users, not all and everybody was not well versed in the system. But what this pandemic has done, it has pushed us towards digitization of everything, and we are going online, and we are using technology proactively. Even the Supreme Court tried to overcome the challenges posed by the pandemic by going virtual. And now what we are hearing from the judges and the court administrators, that even in future they will go for hybrid hearings. Hybrid hearing means suppose a hearing is on and the government and the court wants to listen to the attorney general. Attorney general has left for the day, he is at his home. Attorney general can appear in court from home via internet and via virtual mode. So this is, and this, the benefit is that the case will not be adjourned. It can still be heard, because attorney general, maybe he is physically not present in the court, but virtually he can be there in the court, and this can be done. So this is one of the good things that this pandemic has done. But still the challenge is that this software has to be, this paperless software, it has to be relaunched, and the e-filing thing, the lawyers filing whatever, in whatever form they are filing the software, and the judges whatever software they are using, it has to be matched, and everything has to be filed in the electronic form. What is important is the entire system, right from the trial court up to the Supreme Court, it has to be aligned, and everybody has to use software which is matching with each other. One, because the bulk of pendency is there in the trial courts. So it's not going to help much if we use AI only in the Supreme Court, not in the subordinate courts or maybe high courts. So and everything has to be aligned, and same technology has to be, or software has to be used at every stage. Then there are apprehensions. We all know change is something, change is the second nature. Change is happening across the globe all the time. As we talk, certain changes are happening. What is important is some of us, by nature, because we are status quoist. So whenever there is some change taking place, we are disturbed. So we become slightly apprehensive, and we think, no, change should not happen. I still remember when computerization was going on, and when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi tried to push it. There are lots of organizations and individuals. They said, no, it will lead to greater unemployment, and people will be thrown out of job because those who. Nothing of that sort happen. What happens is, whenever there is a new technology which is introduced, the old one will go, but the new technology requires new set of skills. So it also generates employment, maybe a different kind of employment, but it does generate employment. So similar is the case with AI. It will generate employment, but it will be with certain different set of skills. That's the only difference. The second is the apprehension is about the digital divide, and this is a real problem because this was witnessed during the pandemic, witnessed in schools, in colleges, in courts. Not all lawyers have a laptop with internet connection, or even phone, good smartphone with internet connection, so that he or she can connect with courts and attend court proceedings and fight cases. And similar is the case with the individual litigants. So we are a country with great divide. So this digital divide, it has to be bridged before we go for complete use of AI in judicial system. Otherwise, it will create a different class of people, which is not good, because the constitutional objective set out in the preamble of justice, social, political, and economic, and this equality for all these lofty ideas and ideals of the constitution, they may not be realized unless we bridge this digital divide. So this is one apprehension. And then there is another apprehension that it can lead to complacency among judges, because uh, when technology comes to help you, you tend to depend upon it too much. So technology is to help you in research. Maybe old cases on the same topic decided, how it has been decided, and what. So search engines are using, they are going minutest of words that you put and everything will come. So judges, while it will reduce the time taken in research, but if it is the judges, if they try to let go their discretion and go by what technology is throwing up, I mean AI is throwing up in terms of research, and maybe there are 3 4 things they come up and they adopt one and decide, no, there has to be the main work of the judge is the judicial mind or judicial discretion. That cannot be allowed to be taken over by AI. I'm saying AI is not going to take over on its own, but if judges are complacent, and even slightest degree of complacency can uh, can adversely affect the entire judicial process, and in some cases it can lead to miscarriage of justice. So that's one of the most important concerns. And then the issue of privacy and cybersecurity, because entire system is going to be interconnected, all judicial data will be available, uh, then the entire system has to be secure enough not to allow any kind of intrusion and hacking, because these are all important matters. There can be cases in which it's a very, very high stake matter. There can be cases involving some corporates. If something is leaked, it can lead to share market fluctuations. Somebody can rake in the mullah, or somebody can be devastated. So this is important to ensure that the entire system is robust enough to face any kind of cyber security challenge. And in some cases, even privacy has to be ensured because of the nature of the case. Suppose there is a case of divorce, or there is a case of child custody. Uh, Generally, it's held in the cases, such cases are conducted in camera. And so here, even if you say that it will be in camera, but digitally somebody can intrude. And that's why I said cyber security is very important for this kind of system, because each and every data is going to be held in the soft form. One of the problems in India is the problem of scale. We are such a vast country. In fact, the other day I was talking to a friend, and in the context of this pandemic, and somebody said that this country has handled it well, that country has handled it well. They were giving examples of countries which had a population of 50 lakh and 60 lakh. And one Australia is traveling by train every day in India. So such is the scale of this country. And because of the population, diversity, and geographical spread, here everything has to be done with proper care. And it has to be very well planned because of the scale. I have been to Manipur High Court to see the implementation of the or the integration of the NAT grid and training of judges. In fact, I had the opportunity to talk to judges over there. This is very important. The scale is very important, and that is why if something is being done at such a great scale, all necessary precautions have to be taken. And before we actually put in place this entire system and operationalize it and implement it, we need to plug in the loopholes so as to ensure that nothing goes wrong. And as I mentioned to you some time back, the complete alignment of AI system right from the trial court up to the Supreme Court. If because there is no point, unless we have this kind of alignment, it won't work. The data right from the trial court up to the Supreme Court, it has to be available in the soft form, and it should be available to everybody. Whosoever is wanting to use it should be in a position to use it, because unless we allow this kind of alignment, the system may not work well. And that is why it's important to have, as I mentioned to you, so far as software is concerned and the rest of the systems are concerned, there needs to be complete alignment. Then the bottom line is that judges' discretion cannot be replaced by AI. I'm quoting Justice, the outgoing CJI, Justice S.A. Bobde, who said, "We will not allow AI to spill over to decision making. This must not be allowed, because if that is allowed, and that is one of the apprehensions, then it will be very difficult, because there is no substitute to human mind. And similarly, there is no substitute to a judicial mind. The entire constitution is based on checks and balances, the system of constitutionalism, where you don't allow any organ of this state to occupy too much power. There cannot be concentration of too much powers. One organ, you create an authority, assign some powers, at the same time you create a system to check that power. In case that person or that authority goes wrong, there is another one to check that. So entire system is based on checks and balances, and the Supreme Court and the judges, everybody is supposed to go by the law. But there is Article 142, which gives complete discretion to the Supreme Court judges to go beyond written words of laws and provisions to do complete justice. So such is the faith put in by this constitution in judges. The faith reposed in the judges by the constitution is at a completely different level, and that is reflected in Article 142 of the constitution, which gives complete discretion to the judges to do complete justice in certain cases where the judges feel that the going by the provisions of the constitution or some other laws or statutory provisions may not be sufficient enough. They can innovate. And this judicial innovation to do complete justice, and which is enabled by Article 142. There is no substitute to that. And AI, we welcome AI because it's going to help us in the process, particularly docket management and research. And at the second level, supplementing the judicial decision making, not supplanting judicial decision making. And with this word, I end my presentation. And thank you very much, Professor Bharti, Professor Goel, and all the people at IMS. I'm glad to be part of this whole exercise. In fact, I remember having gone to IMS to speak in a seminar on media trial. That was way back in 2011 or 12. I can't recollect, almost a decade ago. And that time I was the legal editor of the Hindustan Times. I'm glad to be part of this family again, and hope all of you are safe and all the family members are safe. These are very difficult times. And once everything settles down, of course, we'll meet in person and offline. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Prakashji. It has been very enlightening, very comprehensive discourse lecture. We have been enlightened immensely, and our students will also be very much benefited by your very, very thought-provoking address and very illuminating address. I would urge upon you, sir. We thank you, your old association with the IMS also when you talked on the media and law, and also will expect and hope and will request that your association and guidance would always be available to the IMS, to its students.
Sir, may I add, you have a wonderful, if I remember correctly, I hope it's still working. You have a wonderful radio station.
Yes.
I've been to a radio station.
Yes,
also.
Yes, sir. Salam Namaste is there.
Salam
In fact,
Namaste.
I have, in fact, I have produced news bulletins for All India Radio in the 90s. So I have fascination for radio. So I went to that studio. That was wonderful.
That our Varsa Chabaria, she is looking after Salam Namaste, is doing wonderful contribution in the IMS development.
I'm teaching both law and journalism. Journalism I teach at IAMC,
okay,
and law at some other college. So it was wonderful to be there at the radio station, particularly because I have old association with All India Radio.
That's very nice, and because our journalism people will also need your guidance and enlightenment, and similarly the law people also and the management people also. Here my submission to you is, since you are the editor of the legal side of the Tribune, one specific request I wanted to make was that the universities and the Bar Council of India, they have also to be sensitized. The judges are there, judiciary is doing, National Judicial Academy is there, but the Bar Council of India or the universities, they are not enabling the students or the budding lawyers to know the e-court system. So the courses should also be revised. I feel very pity also that this syllabus, which has been carved out long years back, it has not been changed. So syllabus must include the AI or the computer system or the video conferencing, e-filing, and universities should also wake up to the requirements of this. And similarly, the Bar Council of India should also have periodical programs. While they are conducting All India Bar Examination after enrollment of a candidate, they should also have a paper on the e-courting, so that people know how they will e-file, how they will video conferencing, they will argue. So because if the raw material is not proper, then naturally the product before the course will also be inferior. So right from the grassroots, from the learning at the college stage, university stage, at the Bar Council stage, they should send the people so prepared that they can assist the judiciary. And then judges and lawyers, they are both compatible. Here, as you said very rightly, many of the lawyers, they don't have smartphones. Many of them, they have no laptops. They know how to operate. And so system is lacking. There is a vacuum. So while you write something on the legal system and AI system, then kindly do emphasize on the learning of the computer system AI at the college level, university level, as well as the BCI level, in order to prepare a right kind of cops to assist the courts. That is my humble request to you.
Thank you, sir. We'll convey it to the Bar Council of India chairperson, maybe in person,
Thank you so
because
much.
a Bar Council of India member has died last evening. So maybe I'll
Mr.
speak.
Mishra, VC Mishra, yeah.
No, sir, Mr. Jagdev.
Jagdev, yes, did today
Yes,
morning only died. He was a friend of mine,
yes.
and
So,
very unfortunate it is.
so he was a friend. So, and another lawyer also has died. So maybe I'll speak to Mr. Misra this evening. So I'll
That would
convey to him this point as well.
that would be so kind of you, and through your newspaper also, if you can advocate the cause of this AI system through the universities and the bar council, and also, as you said very rightly, the complacency of the judges cannot be afforded. And your lecture has been wonderfully enlightening. It has really enriched us. We are so grateful to you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Professor Govind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, Satprakash. Sir, there are few of the questions posted by the participant. May I read them, sir?
Sir,
Would you
kindly
like to
do.
take them?
Please.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. The first question is by Mrinal Kishore. He said, I may sound stupid, but would not involving AI programs in full-fledged mode can create numerous of new problems. If the algorithm classified a false data point as true, it would be a false positive. Often accuracy is used along with precision and recall, which are other metrics that use various ratios of true and false positives and negative. Together, these metrics provide a detailed look at how algorithm is classifying data points. So actually, sir, he is saying that at times the data which is inserted into the system, if it is making certain points positive, but it is otherwise false, then how can we have the right kind of justice?
See, the concern
Justice.
what Mr. Mrinal Kishore is expressing, many in the legal industry, they have expressed. In fact, some of the people, they have pointed out that it can be designed in a manner to create certain kind of biases also. So these are some concerns, and that is why at the initial level, the suggestion is that it can be used in docket management and certain kind of research, and thereafter it will be left to the judicial mind to take a decision. And beyond that, it is not planned to be used in India. So only for like it's being used by search engines for searching old judgments on particular topics. So first is judicial administration, using it for docket management, and second, for on judicial side, it is only to aid the judges, to assist the judges, and that too again for judicial research. It is not for preparing a draft judgment. It is for, as I mentioned to you, it is being used for translation. It is still in the trial stage. One more use of AI, which is being used in Singapore for real-time transcription. So the lawyers making arguments, and it's being transcribed instantly, and that transcription is available to the judges for further whatever they want to use it. But the concern that has been shown by Mr. Mrinal Kishore, that's a concern, and that is why AI is not being used full-fledged, phased-wide manner, and then assessment, evaluation, and then further improvements. So it is at the trial stage, and it is going to be implemented, but at every stage, there is going to be evaluation, feedback, and then they will try to improve upon. And all the concerns that come up, they will be addressed, and if they find that it's going to adversely affect at any stage, I'm sure they will take remedial measures.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I hope Mrinal is satisfied your query. Now, moving further, sir, one more question is by Arnav Singh Dev. He says that there is a need of law and AI. Why not our parliamentarians are coming up with a law on AI and policy? There are
See,
certain policies relating to AI.
I don't think you need law for AI. It can be done by policy decisions. Technology, use of technology has been permitted, so it's like use of technology. And the IT Act was brought in the year 2000, when primarily for augmenting uh, e-commerce and e-governance. That's a different thing, that it's also being used to deal with cyber crimes. But it's primarily, it's not a law to deal with cyber crime. In fact, all cyber experts, they are demanding that there should be a separate dedicated law to deal with cyber crime. But one of the benefits of IT Act is that we can transact things instantly. Financial transactions can be done within seconds. But so far as AI is concerned, I don't think it requires a law, because the existing legal framework permits use of AI for administration or for assisting the judicial process. It's not that we are going to completely leave it to the AI. In fact, there is something called ADR, we all know, but there is something called ODR, online dispute resolution, and income tax and some other platforms, they are using ODR, where it's completely technology based. I don't think judiciary we need ODR kind of system. If we are going to completely leave it to the technology, then maybe we would need some kind of law. But as of now, we are not going to leave it to technology alone. Technology is being used for certain purposes, and so far as judicial work is concerned, it remains with the judges. And it's like being some search engines, using some search engines like Manupatra or others. It's like they will use this, and then accordingly, whatever comes up, they will further apply judicial mind and decide cases.
Thank you so much, sir. One more question is by Dr. Jyoti Vishwanath. He says that whether the non-human judges in the form of AI will be empowered to use judicial discretion, which most laws provide for, and if yes, the impact of such use.
I don't think that's anywhere in the.
May I read it again?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Her question is about can it be allowed that AI uses discretion? AI uses judicial discretion.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that, yeah? I don't think because that the final, it's to supplement the judicial process, not to supplant. And the ultimate judicial discretion, which is with the judges, that remains with the judges, and that nobody is going to take away from judges, and that is not what is being planned. So I suppose that is too far-fetched.
Thank you so much. My personal query is, when AI is going to be introduced in judiciary,
Sir, you are not audible. Sir, you are on mute. You need to unmute yourself. Yes. Can you repeat, sir?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, my question, actually, I have got my own query that regarding the legal education, particularly, since AI has been introduced by judiciary now, and whether there is no requirement of training the workforce, like in the legal education, we are introducing this as a part of the syllabus, that AI is a mandatory part of your syllabus. You have to read it, you have to go through it. Only then you will be able, a skilled person to work there in the judiciary.
Sir, can you repeat it? You said AI is not part of the syllabus.
Yeah, AI is not at present a part of the syllabus anywhere in the legal education. So whether it is not a duty cast upon VCI to just make certain amendments in the syllabus designing, so that AI is a part of the syllabus and students are also going to be equipped with that kind of skill which is required in future for them.
exactly the same question was raised by Dr. Bhati. And as I mentioned to you, it's a new thing. It's being experimented. So BCI did not have the occasion to deliberate upon it. I'm sure they will deliberate upon it. And it should be part of the curriculum in some way or the other, because technology is going to play a major part in the entire judicial process. And as a lawyer, as a judge, and as court staff, all entire system, right from trial court up to the Supreme Court, everybody has to be well versed in the entire process. And as I mentioned to you in the beginning, the three stages of this in which the process is to be implemented, the training part or the capacity building part is very important. And the capacity building part is important. Unless we build capacity, you cannot go for it. So capacity building is important. And it is in this process that the judiciary and the bar council, they will need to collaborate, and they will have to impart training. And also it should be at some level, it should be part of the entire legal education process, both at the level of university teaching and also at the level of training, both capacity
Very
building.
right, sir. Very right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Very right, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really grateful to you that you have taken out time for blessing us with your informative and insightful knowledge on the subject, sir. And we have got to many more things from the deliberations which you have had, sir. Now, moving further, we have another panelist. She is a Nidhi Jain, academician, coding and IT expert.
So, Professor Govind Goyal ji, meanwhile, before the other experts they start, kindly thank to our learned speaker, Satya Prakash ji. If he wants, he can stay back. Otherwise, he may like to go also. So, our thanks should be accorded to him for his very, very valuable lecture.
Sir, Satya Prakash ji, you may please grant us permission if you can. That please me stay back. If
Sir,
it is affordable.
I'll just be here. I'll just switch off the video. I need to attend to some of calls. These are difficult times.
All right. Sir.
I'll be on the. I am still part of this process. I'll just mute my video and audio, and then I'll.
Grateful video, to you, sir. Grateful to you, sir.
Take it, sir. Thank you, sir.
You are staying back, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So let's move on further with the what a ignition which we have got now, that it has just waited us and opened up our more cravings. It has given the more. It has created a more hunger for the information on the subject. So now we are moving with the next next panelist. That's Nidhi Jain. She's an academician for the last 17 years, and she is mainly into coding and guiding students on various innovative projects. Ms. Jain is associated with Ronak International since 15 years through diversified marketing campaigns. Mortgage business recorded 57% growth in the first year under her leadership. I am currently working on the business development through partnership with Funding Skilling Mission. She has shown exemplary leadership at her workplace and is a recipient of Best Creative Innovative Teacher Award between chain of schools in 2018-19, National Best Teacher Award in the year 2018-2013. Every year, she has received performance bonus AAA for far exceeded expectations in the quality of work and for exceptional contribution to the institute. Ma'am, may I request you to please address the gathering?
Govind sir, I'm really sorry to inform you that Nidhi ma'am has not been able to join Like Satyaprakash sir recently mentioned, these are difficult times and COVID is at its worst stage now. So her daughter is not well, and because of this reason, she could not join today.
Oh,
So we are
sorry,
really
ma'am.
sorry
It's okay.
on
It's
her
okay.
behalf. She expressed her inconvenience and she's really sorry about it. So because she could not join. So we can carry on further. Similarly,
Okay.
Mr. Bhaskar Das is also not well. So even he
All
won't
right.
be able to come in.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the information. Now, may I request Dr. Richa, ma'am? Dr. Ruchi Tripathi, ma'am, sorry. Dr. Ruchi Tripathi,
right.
ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
May I request
Just
you
a
for
moment.
proposing a may I request you for proposing a
definitely.
Thanks. Thank you.
Sure, sir. So, a very good afternoon to all the distinguished guests, Dean Academics, Dr. Manju Gupta, respected HODs of all the departments, faculty members, and the students present in this session. It is really a wonderful and fantabulous experience to be a part of this conference, where we have got an opportunity to listen to the eminent speaker like Mr. Satyaprakash, who's a legal editor, Tribune, and one of the gems of the judicial system, who talked about the commercial litigation problem of pendency and its solution, the development process, and a journey from the invention of fire to the use of artificial intelligence, and of course, its importance. Sir has also talked about the challenges of e-filing, silvering, being paperless, and hybrid hearing, and their solutions as well. He also gave us an insight on the artificial intelligence opportunities in judicial system and our lives also. So as per his information, which is the bottom line, CGI earlier this month has said that judges' discretion cannot be replaced by AI, which we think is really required. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful and knowledgeable question and answer session. And I hope all of us have got the great answers for our questions. Thank you so much, sir, from the bottom of our heart. We would have loved to hear Ms. Nidhi Jain, but unfortunately, she's not here. And finally, I would like to say that Sir has really enlightened us by his knowledge and expert views. And with the advent of digitization, the functioning and compliance in human resources, they have undergone drastic changes. Now, this in turn has facilitated workplace learning and adoption of digital HR practices. Now, this conference session has really provided us a platform for learning, management, and innovations to all of us and also our society at large. I'm sure the views of all the expert speakers have greatly benefited all the participants, and they will be helpful to set the roadmaps of our future endeavors. So to sum up, according to me, an artificial intelligence will definitely change the face of HR functions and the quality of human capital. And it will also help in harnessing the scarce capital significantly better than what is being done today. So that is all from my side. Govind sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Ruchi Tripathi, ma'am. And now, thanks to all the participants that they have been attending all the sessions so aggressively and so enthusiastically. Your technical session would start at 2:30. You may please rejoin at 2:30. And thank you, Bhatti sir. Thank you, our beloved Dean sir, that you have taken out your time and blessed us with the keynote address. Rather, it was a keynote address in place of welcome address. It was also a welcome address at the same time. But you have set down the grounds for making it more thoughtful. So once again, sir, Sri Satyaprakash ji, we are thankful to you. We cannot say in the words. We cannot say in the words. We don't have the adequate amount of words in what way we should express our gratitude to you.
But only
have taken out
that he will be always available to us for the guidance in future as well.
Sir. Yes, sir. That's our submission before you, sir. So whenever it is feasible, just let us know, and so that we can put up a request to you that you may come to the physical setup of IMS campus once again and bless us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks to every participant, all the faculty colleagues, and all the conveners who have been, been on toes to organize this event. Thank you so much once again. Thanks to all.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to
Thank you
interact
very much,
with
sir.
all of you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. May I leave
Neerja
now,
ma'am,
sir?
can we end it? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You may please.
Thank you, sir.
Neerja ma'am, can we end up?